Good evening. Welcome to the candidate forum for the general election in Kansas City, Kansas that will be Tuesday, April 7th. I am Merle Bland with Business West. The forum sponsors include our host, Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and the following co-sponsors: the Downtown Shareholders, the Historic Northeast Neighborhood Association, and the Armourdale Renewal Association. Thanks to all the candidates and the interested persons for attending. This forum is being taped and will be broadcast on the public access channel for the Community College, Channel 17. Our first candidates are seeking the Unified Commissioner at Large position from the 1st District. They will introduce themselves, and Mary Rupert from the Wyandotte Daily News will ask questions. And we will start with Melissa Bynum.
And will we come to the podium or will we just talk from here?
You will have 3 minutes to make introductory remarks.
Okay.
And then Mary will ask questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question, and then 2 minutes for closing remarks.
Okay.
So if you would start with your introductory remarks.
Okay. Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Melissa Bruni Bynum, and I'm a candidate for the Unified Government 1st District at Large Commission seat. I'm a lifelong resident of Wyandotte County. I'm a 1981 graduate of Sumner Academy, and I hold a bachelor's degree in journalism and mass communications from Kansas State University, the best state university in the state of Kansas. I live with my 2 children, Laura Grace and Ted Bynum, and along with my spouse, John Bynum. I'm a lifelong member of Wellborn Community Church, located at 52nd and Leavenworth Road, and our church is very proud to be in our 140th year of serving in our community. I'd like to thank the college and the KCK Chamber, Business West, and all the neighborhood business revitalization groups for hosting us here tonight. I'm aware of the coordination and planning that goes on in putting events like this together, so I certainly do appreciate all that effort. I've been a member of the Chamber for 20 years, and I've spent 8 years on the board of Business West. I've worked for and served on the boards of many of the other NBR groups, and so my roots here are deep. I'm running for this commission seat because I'd like to bring my 20-plus years of service and commitment to our community and its people to this commission. I've worked for several decades with both neighborhood leaders and these days in my role as the executive director of the Shepherd Center with older adults. I've seen the many needs in our community. And that being said, we've come so far since my community life began as a young woman in my 20s, and I'm excited to be a part of continuing the wonderful momentum we're experiencing as your next commissioner. Focus areas for me as a commissioner will be to continue to have strong and safe neighborhoods, a continued focus on our amazing economic development successes, and a firm commitment to finding ways to provide tax relief for those who live in and have businesses in our community. I've had the honor of working my entire career right here in Wyandotte County. I've worked hand in hand with our law enforcement officers, organizing and supporting more than 20 neighborhood watch groups. I've helped provide minor and several major home repairs for some of our most vulnerable residents, our older adults. My commitment to Wyandotte County is seen in my work, my service, and my faith life. And it's the basis for my reason for running and wanting to serve you as a commissioner.
Okay, your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you. Now we will have opening remarks from Mark Gilstrap.
Can you hear me? You all hear me back there? Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank all the organizations that are responsible for putting on this forum. And I want to thank you all especially for being here, even though we do have a little bit of a challenging weather today, but fortunately, when I was down at the chamber this morning being videotaped, my wife was able to get the fertilizer down before the rain came in, so that all worked out good for my schedule. I am Mark Gilstrap, and I'm a candidate for the Wyandotte County Commission, District 1 at large. As some of you may know, I advanced to the general election by 1 vote. Some of the folks in Wyandotte County are now calling me Landslide Gilstrap. So if you think your vote doesn't count, I'm here to tell you it does. And if anybody in this room voted for me, I'll talk to you after the meeting. Maybe we can work out, maybe I can wash your car for you. Just kidding, just kidding. But please, please, please vote on April 7th or sooner. You can vote at the satellite office, at the Speedway, or downtown. But history tells us there's only going to be about 17% of the people voting. So your vote is precious. I am a third-generation Dot, born, raised, educated, employed, and go to church in the Dot. Graduated from Bishop Ward High School, Rockers College, where I got my BSBA degree with a major in accounting. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 39 years, and we have 3 adult children and 3 grandchildren. My wife, Joanne, has been a pharmacist in Wyandotte County for 39 years. She is the pharmacist in charge at the Legends Pharmacy Walmart. I am retired from the unified government after 33 years in the finance department. I am former assistant city auditor, former assistant city treasurer, deputy revenue director, and former Kansas state senator. As you know, when I was a Kansas state senator in 1998, I had the opportunity to vote on the Star Bonds legislation. And that is the legislation that created the Speedway, the Village West, and eventually Cerner, KC Sporting. And in 2007, I cast the deciding vote for the Hollywood Casino. And they're giving me the time's up, and I hope to interject the rest of this information during this forum. Thank you very much.
Now we'll turn to Mary Rupert with the Wyandotte Daily News, who will ask questions of the candidates. I would remind candidates that they have 2 minutes to respond to the questions, and that will be followed by closing remarks from the candidate. Mary?
The first question is for Melissa. What is your position on the proposed Downtown Healthy Campus project? How would you vote on it? And is there anything about it that you would change?
I support the Downtown Healthy Campus project. I think it could be a catalyst for real change for our downtown. It includes a grocery store project, which would help to eliminate the food desert that exists in that area. We've seen grocery stores open and close many, many times over my lifetime of living here. So I think grocery stores are always a challenge. I don't know of something that I would change about its present form. It's been looked at by a multitude of people through a variety of community forums that were held at the unified government. It includes a YMCA that would operate a community center for that community. It includes green space and opportunities that don't exist downtown right now. I'm on the board of the Downtown Shareholders. We've had a hand in helping to play a role in that project, so I am in support of that project.
Good. Same question for Mark.
Thank you, Mary. I'm familiar with the Healthy Campus, and my thoughts on this is not unlike Melissa's, but as a person with a finance background and accounting background, the one thing that I'm very concerned with is the funding. If we can get the proper funding to it, I'm all for it. The mayor spoke at his at the Rotary Club last week or so ago, and he said that he thought the funding was looking good for the YMCA portion, but not so good for the grocery store portion. Portions are fine, but I want to see the whole package. I'd like to be able to sit down with investors if I was a commissioner, including the NAACP, the Black Chamber, and others, to see what kind of input they might have on this. But I'm in support of it as long as we can fund it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for Mark. Once the task force on diversity makes its report, and if changes are made in hiring practices and numbers of minorities who work at the UG, do you support an ongoing task force to continue to evaluate diversity in the UG workforce in all the UG departments as well as in the public safety departments?
I attended the meeting at City Hall, the public hearing on diversity. And if there is a diversity task force that's going to be ongoing, yes, I would certainly support that. I have talked to some of the people in the trenches at the unified government, i.e. the fire department, and I had asked them how would that affect their department. And they specifically explained to me what the rigors are of getting into the fire department. And so after it was explained to me, I think their process is very good. Ideally, diversity is wonderful. We could do that. But like I said, if there's an ongoing task force, I'd love to see that as a future goal.
And the same question?
I support the task force in its current form. I would support ongoing task force work. We've done a really nice job, I think, of hiring high-quality sheriff, police chief, and fire chief. From what I've seen of them, they have shown a real dedication to resolving this issue, and it is an issue. I see a commitment on the part of all three of those leaders and their departments in changing the makeup of those workforces. So I would support an ongoing task force.
Good. And the next question for Melissa. Some of the UG commissioners believe that UG spending should primarily focus on public safety, roads, maintenance of public buildings, snow removal, sewers, things like that, and not on social services. What is your view on this?
I think there's a place for social services in our budget. I would agree that those issues are priorities. Public safety is a priority, but it's difficult to rebuild a community and not also make an investment in human capital or social capital. We have a lot of needs in this community. That being said, as a commissioner, what I would choose to do is look to partner with organizations like the Shepherd Center of Kansas City, Kansas, where I work. We do minor home repairs. We did over 100 of those for older adults last year without using a dime of city money. So partnering and collaborating certainly would be a way to help with social service issues without necessarily seeing the unified government foot the entire bill for those kinds of programs.
And Mark, do you have a response?
Mary, would you repeat that question, please?
Yes, some of the UG commissioners believe that UG spending should primarily focus on public safety, roads, maintenance of public buildings, snow removal, and sewers, and those sorts of issues, and not on the social services. And what is your view on this?
I think the funding for social services should be extremely limited. When I started on with the unified government in the early 1900s, or 1900s, I guess 1980s maybe, okay. We established the utilities rebate for folks that have a little trouble paying their utility bills. I thought it was an excellent program. As far as I know, it's still going on in the city clerk's office or county clerk's office. But Again, I think it should be limited. We should focus on the issues that you spoke of first. And you have to look at your budget, if you have any money left over. And with the Star Bonds legislation going to, I'm not going to say mature, but the money is going to be available in 2017. And our fund balance is going to increase considerably. But also, we need to pay our employees. They haven't had raises for 7 years. So that's another thing we need to look at too, Mary.
We have time for one last question.
Okay. The voting totals from the primary show that both of the candidates have strong ties to Western Kansas City, Kansas. What would you do to make sure you are representative of the entire first district at large? And if there's economic development projects in the future, in what areas do you think they should take place? Is it Mark's turn to go first, right?
Is it
Yeah.
my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, you are correct. As a state senator, I mentioned I helped get the Star Bonds legislation. I helped get the casino. And I live out in that area, and that was the area, that was my district, the western part of Wyandotte County and then into Leavenworth County. So I worked very hard and very diligently. In my experience of 12 years in the Kansas Senate, I've made a lot of friends, and I still have a lot of friends up there. The Secretary of Commerce is a gentleman by the name of Pat George. He is the secretary, and he'll be down at the Congressional Forum this Friday to speak. He's an excellent person to deal with. He and I were in the legislature together. You're right, we need to do the development east of I-435, east of 635, and we need to focus on that area. And so I'll do whatever I can as a county commissioner to utilize the sources that I have in Topeka that will help us with possibly grants, bonds, those kinds of issues.
Melissa?
Say that question to me again.
Okay, the voting totals from the primary show that both of the candidates have strong ties to the western Kansas City, Kansas area. What would you do to make sure you are representative of the entire first district at large? And if there is economic development in the future, in what areas should it take place?
My address might be by Wyandotte County Lake, but my work career has been for this entire community, north, south, east, west. It's a proven record. Through my work at the Shepherd Center, through my work at the Leavenworth Road Association and the American Red Cross, the areas of this community that I touched and I was engaged in were everywhere. The entire time that I've been working here in Wyandotte County, I've always said what happens on 5th Street does impact 95th Street and vice versa. Through my job that I work at today at the Shepherd Center, we've provided a program or a service in every single commission district in the unified government. So I think I can show by my work record and my service record that my care and concern is for all of Wyandotte County. If economic development comes our way in a new form, that should be for east of 635, it should be for east of 435, it should be for Bonner, it should be for Edwardsville. What I appreciate so much about what's going on in the community is that we're seeing that economic development in many, many parts of our city. So certainly I would look at economic development as a priority everywhere in Wyandotte County.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will have closing remarks, and we will start with Melissa. You have 2 minutes for your closing remarks.
Thank you. I do want to thank everyone for being here. I really appreciate you coming to hear what the candidates have to say. It is so important and it is so appreciated. I want to say that strong neighborhoods build strong communities. The foundation for the success we have seen here in Wyandotte County has been laid by you, our community residents. Our community is full of genuine, hardworking, amazing people. I truly believe, because I've seen this, that given the opportunity, people want to participate in making our community better. I want to facilitate that as your commissioner. Experience does count, and my work and service record shows I have that experience. I have 20 years of dedicated experience working side by side with you to solve problems. I would like to ask not only for your vote on April 7 or before, but your help and your support beyond that day. I would appreciate your vote. My name's Melissa Bynum. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Mark?
I want to thank all of you again for being here, and I would like your vote on April 7th. I'd like to thank Melissa for jumping into this contest, late as it was, but she did jump into it. And with that being said, I might tell you that I am the only candidate who has a record of not voting to raise your property taxes, your sales tax, your income tax, your gasoline tax, your liquor tax. I'm the only candidate that has a record of creating jobs. I'm the only candidate that has an accounting, finance background who can review and understand budgets. I am running for the Wyandotte County Commission at Large because I have a lot of questions as to why our property taxes have not gone down when we receive $17 million a year from the casino and the Legends projects. Why is our unemployment still one of the highest in the state when we have created hundreds of jobs out west? The red tape in the unified government just keeps getting longer and longer. We got to work with our small businesses. We're giving a lot to the big businesses and the big companies. We roll over for them. I'm endorsed by Kansans for Life, Kansas City Dog Advocates of Wyandotte County Chapter, Tri-County Labor, Firefighters 64, AFL-CIO, Local 1290, Citizen, and Mergia. But the endorsement I want is your endorsement. Please vote for Mark Gilstrap on April 7th. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's applaud our candidate.